here, oops, got the eraser on. Here we have section 2.1, exercise 30 it was. And here we're just supposed to find the tangent line, but then use a graphing utility to graph it, and use the derivative feature to also try to confirm our result here. Okay, so we'll look at all that. So in 30 we have that f of x is equal to the square root of x minus 1, and we would like to look at this at the point 5, 2. Okay, so we need to find our derivative or slope of our tangent line. So f prime at 5 is equal to the limit as h goes to 0 of f of 5 plus h minus f of 5 over h. So that's the limit as h goes to 0. F of 5, so we've got the square root of something minus 1. Well, that something is 5 plus h. And then minus the square root of 5 minus 1, all divided by h. So this is the limit as h goes to 0. In this first one we have 4 plus h, and in the second one we have the square root of 4, so we just get 2 over h. Now the problem is I can't combine these because of that darn square root right there, and so again I need to pull that trick where I multiply by the conjugate of the thing involving the root, so 4 plus h plus 2, and 4 plus h plus 2. And the idea is with those squares, perfect squares, that we'll get rid of the square roots then, difference of squares. So we have the limit as h goes to 0. Get our perfect squares there, we get 4 plus h and then minus 4. And that's all over h times the square root of 4 plus h plus 2. But at this point, those 4's cancel, and so we'll be able to factor out the h over h. So we have our limit as h goes to 0 of h over h times the limit as h goes to 0 of 1 is all that we have left there when we factor out the h, and then over the square root of 4 plus h and then plus 2. Again, that's 1. So we have 1 times this limit that I can get by direct substitution. I have 1 over the square root of 4, which is 2, plus 2 there, so 1 over 4. So there's my derivative, and my tangent line at 5, 2 is just, I'll call it L of x for line, is equal to f at 5 plus f prime at 5 times x, I got mixed up for a second, minus 5. Okay, so there we have it. Now, I actually know what f of 5 is without actually using it up there because, well, there's 2. All right, and so this is 2 plus, we found f prime of 5 is 1/4 times x minus 5. And I'm fine with leaving it like that, but if you wish, you can multiply through and you get x over 4. It just gets nastier. You know, here I can see that very nicely, but I can't see the y-intercept. Not that I necessarily need to. I can see it goes through the 0.52, you know. So I get my x over 4. Now I've got 2, which would be 8/4 minus 5/4, so that's plus 3/4, I guess. And we can check that we got that right. Okay, so then part B said, oh, check it out on a, you know, graphing thing of some kind. So here's Desmos, and so we want to graph the original, which was the square root of x minus 1. So I go in here, and I have to, I can't just hit a keyboard, so I have my f of x equals square root of x minus 1. So there's my function, and sure enough it goes through 5,2 here, so I can kind of move that over and get that a little bigger right there at 5,2. And now we can try adding our function that we had L of x. So go here and go L of x equals, and we had 2 plus 1/4, so 1 divided by 4, and then I need to come up and do my x minus 5, x minus 5, and so hopefully if I go back here and start looking for things, yeah, certainly looks like we did a, my stylus grabs hold and makes things wild. So it looks like we did just fine. Now we can also check that, you know, we got this other thing right. You know, I could, and maybe I'll just use y equals, and that was 1/4 x, so I'll just do x divided by 4, and then move out here, and then it was I think plus 3/4. So notice we've got the slope right, and then plus 3/4, so plus and 3 divided by 4, and the one line's on top of the other line. I can turn that off by hitting the little, I should be able to turn that off. Keep trying. Okay. Maybe I can't seem to turn that puppy off, so I'll just get rid of it. Well, there we go. Wow. Okay. So this is a little tougher on the tablet. Okay. So, what else is it? Oh, and then they said use the derivative option to make this happen. Well, remember, you know, so the tangent line, so now I don't want to use a t because, you know, that'd be a nice thing, but I'll use how about a g for my tangent line. So g of x is equal, and we said, now I'm just going to write it out as we talked about it. It's f at 5, f of 5, and then plus f prime at 5, so I'm just going to write it that way, f, and I need to find the prime. It looks like it's right there. If I do some sort of shift, yep, and then f prime at 5. Okay, close that. Times x minus 5. So x minus 5. And look at that. Right on top. So here, notice I never actually had to figure out what that slope was. Desmos figured it out for me with the f prime of 5. And if I need to know what that is, well, I'll just come down here and say f prime at 5 and 0.25. And it's even got this fraction thing. I couldn't seem to turn stuff off, but I'll see if I can. Yeah, I'm not sure why I can't. But I can't get a hold of that fraction thing with my stylus for some reason. But if you hit that little fraction bar, I think it'll give you the fraction 1/4, which is pretty cool. But there you go. And so we've completed exercise 30.